Hey, so I've been thinking about this idea of scoop up the feeling. I said it in a few of the other Word Magpies, I'm pretty sure, but I think about it quite often. It was something that a counsellor said to me when I was talking about this idea of how to stay present to somebody when you've got a big feeling surging for them. And she gave this amazing metaphor that's really strong for me now. She was like, well, what would you do if you were in the middle of a really important conversation with someone and a child came up to you that was distressed? You'd just scoop them up, put them on your knee, tend to them for a moment, but actually be able to hold that child and continue with the conversation for the most part. So you would recognise that that thing was there, you'd recognise that the feeling was there, you would put your arm around it, you'd scoop up the feeling and continue on with what you were doing. And I love this idea of scooping up the feeling, because for me, I think what happens when I get a big feeling or when I get a big reaction or a big response to something, I want to push it away. I want to shame it out of existence. I want to reject it, or I want to hand myself over to it completely and ignore the person who may have kind of made the feeling come up in some way, who may have been the doorway or the reason that I'm having some kind of reaction. But in that moment, that reaction's not really about that person. That's a feeling that is returning to be met. And in scooping up the feeling, I think there's an opportunity to meet a feeling that has been still waiting to be integrated, just waiting to be met for what it is and held for what it is, and not told to wait, not rejected, but actually just scooped up and embraced. So I really love that idea, and I think about it often. And that kind of Jung philosophy around being able to hold two opposing feelings simultaneously. What it is to be an adult, in that you can hold your own grief and someone else's emotion simultaneously. That we can hold grief and joy somehow simultaneously. That they don't have to cross the other out, negate the other. So yeah, that's a big practice for me right now. And trying to do it more and more. So get heightened, recognize it, scoop it up, nestle it in, hold it, actually hold it. There is room for you here. There is room for you here. And then still be able to be present to what's happening in my conversation or in my exchange with somebody else without making the two collide, without putting the feeling in between my listening capacity, without saying, I'm now having this feeling, therefore all else has to stop. Being able to do both. I've got you and I've got you. That's something that parenting's taught me. How to be able to scoop up a child and continue on with an awesome convo. I can do that. I can do that with two parties. Can I do that with my internal landscape? That's the journey. So yeah, scoop up the feeling. Thanks for listening.